What if the secret to success wasn't hidden in complicated strategies or impossible talent, but in something you do every single day? What if the way you start your morning was either your greatest advantage or your silent downfall? That's not just a catchy idea, it's reality. Because if you study high performers, self-made millionaires, and the people who consistently achieve more than most, you'll find a common thread. They design their mornings with purpose. Every action has intention. Every habit has a reason. And these routines don't just set the tone, they set the trajectory. It isn't luck. It isn't genius. Structure. It's what they do when the rest of the world is still asleep. Millionaires think differently about mornings. They don't wake up late, hit snooze, and hope the day works out. Before their feet hit the ground, their attention is already hijacked by the world. No distractions. They take a moment to ground themselves, to breathe, to check in with their own goals before checking in with the world. They're in reactive mode. That's how the average mind starts the day. Already behind, already anxious. Let's start with one of the most powerful truths. Millionaires don't wake up and react. They wake up and lead. Most people start their mornings by checking their phones, emails, notifications, social media. Now compare that to someone who's intentional. They wake up with discipline. Whether it's a full workout, a walk, or stretching, they activate their body, because energy is not something you wait for. It's something you create. That's the first shift. Setting yourself up to win before the world throws its first punch. You prepare yourself not just to exist, but to perform. Millionaire mornings begin with ownership. The day doesn't control them. They control the day. So what do they do exactly? First, they wake up early. No negative news, no gossip, no mindless content. Instead, they consume with purpose. A few pages from a great book. A podcast that sharpens thinking. Journaling to unlock ideas. Affirmations to direct focus, but they carve out quiet. Because in a world full of noise, the ability to hear your own thoughts is rare. And millionaires value their thoughts more than external chaos. But it's not just hard work, it's smart work. And that smart work starts with mental alignment. Not because waking up early is magical, but because it gives them space. You don't spend your day reacting. You lead. Space before the world pulls at them. Space to think, prepare, and set the tone without interruption. They don't start the day rushed. They start it with clarity. And in that clarity, they often turn to something powerful. Silence. It may be meditation, it may be breath work, it may be prayer or simple stillness. From there, they often engage in movement. And when your body moves, your brain engages. You shake off fatigue. You stimulate clarity. This is the second truth. Millionaire mornings are about generating energy. It's not about jumping into emails or task lists immediately. It's about priming yourself, building your momentum. Another powerful habit you'll find is intentional input. Millionaires do not feed their minds junk in the morning. They understand that your first thoughts influence your next decisions. Garbage in, garbage out. But clarity in, power out. This is where most people miss the point. They assume the wealthy and successful just work harder. When you align your mind before the day even begins, you don't get pulled into everyone else's drama. Now, let's talk about goals. Millionaires revisit their goals every day. Not once a year, not once a month. Every day. They write them, visualize them, reflect on them. Because goals are not set and forget, they are active anchors. When you reconnect with your vision daily, your actions stay aligned. You don't drift, you build. And it's not just the big goals, it's the micro actions too. What needs to get done today? What matters most right now? Millionaires prioritize. They don't fill their schedule with busy work. They focus on what moves the needle. They ask, what is the one thing I can do today that brings me closer to my vision? That question shapes their entire day. Their routines are so dialed in that they don't need to think about them. Wake up, hydrate, move, reflect, plan, execute. Here's another key difference. Millionaire mornings are not chaotic. They are systemized. Most people roll out of bed with no structure. They rely on motivation or mood. Millionaires rely on systems. That rhythm builds discipline. That rhythm builds identity. They don't question whether they feel like doing the routine. They do it because it's who they are, and that identity shift is everything. Alignment means the most important things get the right attention. What matters is not the exact steps, but the intention behind them. They are consistent. They are intentional. They are focused on growth. Because once you see yourself as someone who owns the morning, who executes with precision, who stays ahead instead of behind, you show up to your life differently. Stop sleeping on your own potential. Stop starting your day in distraction and hoping for focus. This doesn't mean every millionaire has the same routine. And that brings us to one of the most underrated secrets of millionaire mornings. They don't chase balance. They chase alignment. A vote for the kind of life you're building. But you do need to do what makes you focused, consistent, and driven. A vote for the kind of person you're becoming. With clarity, with intention, with purpose. Balance implies everything gets equal time. They wake up and do what matters most: their health, their mindset, their goals, their clarity. Millionaires don't wake up and try to do everything. By the time most people are still snoozing or scrolling, they've already activated their mind, their body, and their purpose. That's not just a morning routine. That's a competitive edge. And how you carry yourself through your days determines the kind of legacy you leave. You don't need money to start a millionaire morning. You don't need a fancy gym or a private chef or an expensive routine. You want to get ahead in life. Then stop living like the average. Start your day like it matters. Because it does. Every day is a vote. You don't need to do what every millionaire does. Create your morning like you create your future. Wake up with discipline. Move with energy. Think with precision. Act with direction. Lead it. Millionaires don't wait for the day to motivate them. They bring the fire. And here's the most important part. What you need is decision. What you need is commitment. What you need is consistency. The moment you decide your mornings matter is the moment you start building a different life. Because the way you start your day determines how you carry yourself through it. Millionaire mornings aren't about money. They're about mastery. Mastery of your habits, mastery of your time, mastery of your mind. And mastery is available to anyone who's willing to do the work. So tomorrow, when you wake up, don't just fall into the day. Build a morning that makes your future self proud. Wake up with a mission. Build momentum. Sharpen your edge. That's what they're doing differently. Now the question is, will you?